Okay, folks, we are back and we have a fantastic session now. So I'm sure one of many people's favorite suppliers is going to join us on the stage. You are about to learn the secret of Play and Go. Their relentless rise to the top of game suppliers has left quite a few people wondering, what's the secret? So, in this rare opportunity and a unique panel format, Play and Go are going to draw back the curtains and let all of you here in person in Valletta, all of you on the live stream, all of you on demand, find out how the Swedish giants really work behind the scenes. So I'm going to welcome on our quartet of power players from Play and Go. Ladies and gents, please give a huge round of applause for the head of sales Western Europe at Play and Go, Stuart Trigwell; for the games ambassador at Play and Go, George Olekszy; for the product owner at Play and Go, Neville, Agius; and the regional director, Southern Europe and LatAm at Play and Go, Emilie, Zamponi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon, everybody.
This is Panel 4 from Play and Go Live on their channel.
Just wait for the video to stop.
React to it. Friend or menace?
It's almost midday. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see so many of you in attendance with us. I'm Stuart from the Play and Go commercial team. Big kudos to our marketing department on this wonderfully catchy agenda title they've put together. It clearly worked with so many people coming to watch this today and online. We're going to do something slightly different now. Instead of give a keynote speech, we thought we'd give you, the audience, a behind the scenes insight into Play and Go, why we do things the way we do, and touch upon some of the challenges as a global supplier we all face and have to embrace in order to grow in our ever more regulated and evolving industry. Now, we know there's a few assumptions about Play and Go, as there are about many other suppliers and operators, of which I can actually see a few of you in the room right now. And just to lighten the mood, I thought I'd share a few of these with you now. Now, of course, most assumptions are positive and some slightly more topical. So I've pulled a few off social media and other feedback over the last few weeks. With that many games Play and Go, you must skin every single one of them. Always one of the first suppliers to restrict traffic in certain markets. And my personal favourite, and I'm not sure if anyone can guess this one, you've only got one game. Interesting insight into an organisation that today alone delivers over 250 slot titles to thousands of websites globally, including in over 20 regulated jurisdictions. Now, of course, to deliver this level of service on a global level and on a consistent basis, there needs to be a clear long-term strategic objective across all areas of the organisation. And to talk to you about these today, we have Neville, cornerstone of Play and Go's platform development. We have Emilie, spearheading Play and Go's growth in Italy, Spain, and the LatAm markets. And we have George, head of player retention and key to all the decision-making that goes into the Play and Go roadmap. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
So, Neville, this really does feel like a behind-the-scenes look at Play and Go. Often the platform and operations sometimes get overlooked. And from your experience, what is it about this area of the business that has really laid the foundation for Play and Go and its operators?
Yeah, good afternoon, Stuart, and good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, as you said, platform at times is overlooked, but we all agree you need a solid platform to be the best gaming entertainment provider out there. I think within Play and Go, one very important strategic decision that we took at a very early stage was to adopt a cloud-first approach to whatever we do within platform. This gives us a lot of advantages, like being more productive, able to scale our environments easier, and also a higher degree of automation, even at infrastructure level. So all in all, a more efficient platform with a highly improved cost effectiveness. This, I think, definitely is a winning strategy, which underpins our long-term success in this rapidly changing industry.
And Neville, when we talk about these technical developments and the involvement of the platform, this has clearly come with some challenges. And is there anything in particular that Play and Go have had to overcome and face in order to be able to deliver a premium service to our operators on a global level?
Yeah, definitely. We had a lot of initiatives, but if I had to go some years back, I'd mention when we took the decision to rebuild our remote game server.
And sorry, for the benefit of the audience, that's essentially, in layman's terms,
Yeah.
a platform upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the core of the platform where we decided to rebuild it with scalability and performance in mind from the ground up. This, amongst other things, allows us to do updates without the need of downtime, thus no disruption to the end player. We had challenges, definitely. If I had to mention a few, the recertification aspect and also the rollout aspect of this initiative.
But long term, this has clearly had a benefit for operators when wanting to enter more regulated markets.
Sure, the benefits were great because when we say that we rebuilt our core of the platform with scalability and performance in mind, this means that our platform is able to handle high volumes of players and gameplay across all markets at the same time without limitations. So definitely this allows our clients, that is the operators, to gain a good market share in the markets they are operating in.
And Neville, player fun and entertainment is at the centre of everything Play and Go do, but this has got to be done in a safe and responsible manner. And from a platform perspective, how has the platform evolved to ensure that player safety is at the core of everything that we do?
Yeah, correct. Thankfully, we work on a daily basis very close with our tech compliance teams. And thanks to this, our platform out of the box provides controls and functionality that can be configured on the fly without even the need for operators to do any changes from their side. And this puts their mind at rest that players playing our games are doing so in a safe manner. If I had to mention some controls we have player protection mechanisms, revenue reporting, reality checks, and max stake limits, and a lot more.
And Emilie, a relatively new face at Play and Go, and in your previous time in the gaming industry, you've been a competitor of Play and Go, and you've also been a customer. And is there anything in either of them positions that particularly struck you about the way the organisation operated in either one of them?
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me Play and Go. I literally started a month ago today, so yeah, very new. I have been mostly on the B2B side of the business for the past 10 years. I've also been, as you said, a customer and a player, of course. And it goes without saying that I've always loved the games of Play and Go. And I remember when going to see my clients back in the commercial teams when I was working on the competitor side, I always tried to know what we needed to do to reach the position they had on the website, to be on top rows. But what I think I appreciate the most is the way they do business and the way they treat people internally and externally. And to be honest, it's also something that I've noticed now I'm working with them, and I really appreciate that. And in the recent years, I've been looking a lot at the way they do business in the regulated market, and they're taking the same approach, when entering there and backing up their operators. I appreciate that a lot, actually.
And now you've been at Play and Go, admittedly only a month. Is there anything in that time that has that took you and thought, yeah, this is something that you want to discuss more?
So yeah, basically, like what strikes me the most is what I just said as well, in the same, like the integrity they have when they do business, right? They have to make difficult decisions sometimes, but they stick to their guts, and they're like, they kind of no matter what, make these decisions for the long-term success of the business, and to, again, back up the customers that are going for the long run. And even if it means leaving money on the table in certain markets, or not taking, like, not allowing Curaçao traffic in Germany, for example, or even not making bonus buy games. It's not decisions that are easy to make, but they are taking them. So I admire that.
And George, talking about games, and yeah, we've been here almost half of the time already. We've not even touched upon the games themselves. The slots industry has evolved massively since Play and Go brought their first game out in 2012. The player behaviour, the availability of content, and how has Play and Go been able to ensure that customers keep coming back to the Play and Go titles when there are literally hundreds of games available on pretty much a weekly basis?
It's a great question, Stuart. I think the answer that is actually in the question itself is the sheer volume of game suppliers is the biggest challenge that we're facing, and many other game suppliers are facing. How we've managed to address that challenge is by upscaling not only the volume of our games, but the quality of them too. So if you look at the industry 10 years ago, you would see a handful of game suppliers probably doing one game a month. And as you say, there are now hundreds of game suppliers, many doing one game a week, so it's fiercely competitive. And some of the other challenges that we're facing are keeping up with all the newly regulated markets and the challenges that they bring too.
Yeah, and obviously we've touched upon regulation and we'll continue to touch upon it. And obviously moving into more regulated markets is where Play and Go are going. But that does bring its own challenges on a kind of game delivery and production level as well.
Absolutely, it does. So a couple of the big challenges. Firstly, I think from a logistical standpoint, we have many partners who operate a multi-market, multi-brand strategy, and we work really hard to ensure that we're all able to give that game to all of those different markets and brands on the same day or as close to as possible. So that's a challenge in itself. And then I think one of the other challenges that we face are when we do go into new markets, for example, we don't have the same experience and the same data to rely on that we do with markets that we already exist in.
And yeah, just to kind of elaborate on that point, there's certain markets where you do have suppliers that are fantastic and specialised in that one market or maybe two markets. And I think when you define global success, I think you have to kind of look at it in many different ways. And one of them is consistency in every market that you enter and you operate. And George, how do Play and Go compete in certain markets where perhaps you do have localised suppliers that are just building content for that specific market?
Localised content is very important, and it's something that we do and we will continue to do. But I think it's also very important how we use that localised content. So for me, I believe that we should be using localised content as a way to introduce Play and Go into new markets. But I believe the end goal should always be to get people playing the classic Play and Go titles that they've known and loved for many years now.
And I made an assumption at the beginning about perhaps an over-reliance on one or a few titles. But if you look at the breakdown in performance over the last few years, the split is much widely divided now over a much larger element of the portfolio of games.
It's very true. So if you look at even the last few years, there's a far less reliance on the top 5 or top 10 games, and that revenue is much more thinly spread across the top 20, top 50 games. And that's a testament to the quality of the games that we've been producing over the last few years. And it just simply wouldn't be possible if it was the same game over and over again. So unfortunately, the joke isn't true in that case.
And one thing Emilie mentioned earlier was perhaps Play and Go do avoid short-term gains on the basis of looking at the kind of long-term regulated market strategy. And I think we can also bring that down onto a product level as well. And again, touching on the bonus buy games, it's not something that Play and Go have ever really considered.
It's not, and it's something that we get asked all the time. It's probably one of the most frequent questions that comes up. There's a few really good reasons why we don't. So I think the first reason is we just simply don't believe that they have a long-term future in regulated markets, and we don't see the value in building features and mechanics that aren't going to be around for the long term, or at least in our opinion. And I think secondly, from a product point of view, we put a lot of effort into the base game features, into the story of the game, and as you mentioned earlier, it's all about fun and entertainment for us, and we believe that these type of mechanics, players will burn out very quickly, and it kind of the opposite of what we're aiming to achieve with our games.
And coming back onto the title of this session, the secret of playing Go, and changing tack slightly now, I don't think it would be unfair to say the way Play and Go now use data to drive all areas of the business, from game data through to automating key processes, is essentially setting us and our operators up for this long-term success. And Neville, can you touch upon this more from an operational perspective?
Yes, sure. I am happy you touched this topic of data. In fact, during this last year or so, we also embarked on another initiative, an interesting one, to elevate our data platform to make it more domain-driven and decentralized. Today, departments can start reaping the benefits of this initiative. I'd say we are still at an early stage, but we have interesting times ahead of us.
And just to, again, elaborate on this, what's being developed now will essentially benefit other areas of the organisation, including the commercial team. So can you kind of expand on how it's going to benefit Emilie when she goes into her discussions with operators?
Sure. I mean, although we, as a provider, we don't have the luxury like operators to have a 360-degree view of the players. However, unlocking data, like data on game stickiness, games popularity and performance, promotional tools, and the level of engagement of players with those, all this, when you unlock it and make it available, teams like the commercial department, when combine this casino data domain with other domains they might have, will definitely assist them, so they in turn assist our clients to really focus on what matters.
And this obviously is great news for you, Emilie.
Definitely. It's a very good topic, actually, data. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, numbers speak for themselves. And to be honest, what I appreciate as well is the fact that it's not just internal research when it comes to data. It's not just about game analysis or like promotional tools. It's the strong BI team of Play and Go is working a lot on external analysis too, like market research when it comes to regulations, when it comes to what games works where. And give these like reports to the account managers, the sales managers, for them to be able to have proper talks with the operators, you know, so we know where we're going. And it's very much about the offer and the demand, right? We're studying like at a much higher scale the business, and this is very good for the long-term success as well.
And George, on a game perspective, long gone are the days where we're just kind of assessing the performance of a game on number of game rounds, for example.
The data side of things has changed a lot since when I first entered the industry. I think we used to take a very black and white approach to data. We'd look at very few metrics. We'd look at player numbers, total rounds, turnover, GGR. But now we have so much more of a granular view on it, and we will look at the average session times. We'll look at what point in the game we're seeing players start to drop off. And then what we're doing with that is we're using that information and that data to build future great games.
And I'm going to put you all on the spot right now. What's next at Play and Go? What's next for our operators in the future months ahead?
Yeah, if I had to say from a platform perspective, 3 main things. I think we need to continue on our long-term vision of a planet-scale platform, more promotional tools for better player experience, and definitely a more customized experience to our clients by being more data-informed.
So I would say continue listening to the market, using the data. We actually have also a game info API that we created and that some customers are starting to using. And I think it's a great tool, so like please reach out if you want to hear about it. And I'd say continue hiring great people and definitely like looking at adapting to the market fast changes.
And George, finally.
I think you will see Play and Go continue to make great games that support our partners' growth in regulated markets.
Well, thank you, and some fantastic insight there. And I think what I've taken from this and what I expect you've taken from this is all the decisions Play and Go are making today are to set our operators up for long-term success in an ever more regulated marketplace. And I'd just like to leave you with this one question. Is this the exact peace of mind you want from your global suppliers? Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.